Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, depending on which side of the ocean you are. It's another Friday, and today I have a pleasure of having this casual Friday chat with my good friend and mobility visionary, Arthurs. So it's easy not to mix the names. On both sides of camera, we have Arthurs today, and I guess I'll give some time for Arthurs to introduce himself and maybe give us a couple of words to explain how did you appear in mobility sector. As far as I know, you are not actually from this business environment initially. So, what moved you into this sector?
Sure. Thank you for the introduction, Arthur. So my name is also Arthur. I'm from Riga, Latvia, and I'm founder of Atom Mobility. It's a software technology company providing SaaS tools for mobility industry. We have been on market for more than 5 years, helping different companies to scale their fleets and digitalize the whole operation from all the traditional car rental companies and share mobility operators. And you're right, yeah, I haven't been in mobility before. 5 years ago, I was in a different space, but also in technology. So historically, me and my co-founder, we were building different software and tools and technology for over a decade already. We were in on-demand space and delivery space for 4 or 5 years with another venture, another company. That company ran for 4 or 5 years. We ran together with my co-founder. Unfortunately, it went not very well financially, so we closed that down. And it was, I believe, 2017, 2018, when we discovered there is a big trend in shared mobility. So at that moment, the boom was with all the IoT devices and connectivity. So it was a moment when it was easy to track the vehicles and start to basically all the remote accesses and things like that. And we started our own in Riga, Latvia. We started our own share mobility small business. So it was business B2C business in the beginning. So basically business to consumer. We had a consumer facing app and integration and dashboard to run our own share mobility business for. And we ran it for 1.5 years. And we started to offer our platform to franchisees and to work under Atom brand at the beginning. And we discovered that it was pretty challenging to offer a franchisee type of, because everybody have their own tricks, things that they want to change and or own branding. So we're pretty fast in our journey, pretty year in our journey, we pivoted to SaaS tool, and we started to provide softwares to other companies under their own brand. So we don't push our brand there. We provided tools, they branded, and that's how we started. And then from there, we had 1, 2, 3 contracts. And right now we already launched more than 250 different share mobility platforms over the globe. I think in total, we already are present in more than 43 countries worldwide.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's a big achievement. But I mean, you mentioned the roadmap of your development, but what actually kind of inspired you to move into this new sector? Because I mean, even 90% of the car rental market is still acting in a, let's say, old school format. So they're not really digitalized yet. So what actually was the sparkle that said, hey, let's move into this digital environment, like sharing space? Was it just a vision that you had, or were these some stats, some numbers coming from the market, some forecasts? Like, it's really interesting.
yeah, sure. There is a lot of data about that, and mostly we moved there because we wanted to start in a market which is growing fast, which is not yet digital enough. So there is space for our company as ours, and mobility in general is growing pretty fast. If I remember correctly, McKinsey forecasts like 30% year-over-year growth for up to 2035 year. So it's one of them, if not most growing, but one of the top growing markets. If you take a look on the different tech segments. Of course, there are different markets, like, for example, cybersecurity, also growing very fast. Of course, most of that also impacted by AI and new tools there as well. But of course, it's a different story. And we wanted to do something in mobility because our previous experience also, not maybe exactly mobility, but on-demand space, delivery space is also kind of part of the city infrastructure. So we're very like aware of that already, and we wanted to be in a similar market and use our technological expertise there. So yeah, and the numbers show that the market is growing. Car rental companies also looking for tools to digitalize their experience, user experience, and their operations as well. And it's pretty big market. And yeah, you're correct. It's still like in 90, I don't know, 95% probably of the currents will still operate the old ways. But I think it will change in the next 4 or 5, maybe a bit more years. And we want to be there to help them to do that.
That's great. But I mean, on this way, I personally know that it's not always easy to explain the benefits of the technology to the end consumers, to partners, to the market. So, from your perspective, what were these biggest, say, challenges that let's say, especially at the beginning, and maybe they're still existing, and what are the major opportunities that you foresee? Do you believe that the market will eventually switch over to this digital format? Do you believe that this is the only way how the business will survive? Or let's say, how does this opportunity balances versus these challenges?
Yeah, sure. Of course, the beginning is harder to explain, but the more cases and marketing we do, is the easier it is to explain the benefit, and it's rather than more like implementation and pilots is harder than explaining the idea. And since we work with B2B, we focus mostly business side, but of course consumer side is also very important, but on consumer side, it's pretty easy to understand the value. If you ask anybody who used rental in their last few years, what was the experience, probably they will say it wasn't the most pleasant experience. They waited in the airport or they waited in an agency or in a shop to sign some papers. They even haven't had time to read this 20-page document. They don't know what to sign. They get charged 500 euros, dollars to just get a keys. Then they waited for a keys. Then they waited for the person who show them the car. So you lose like a few hours on there, and especially if summer season and if it's top destination, probably you will
And
lose even
especially
more.
if it's a large airport.
Yeah, large airport. And so from the consumer, it's pretty easy if you just ask them, hey, do you prefer this, or maybe you do everything from the app remotely when you are like on the flight or before the flight, or from your home. Do all the verification, payment there, and just arrive, and the car is waiting for you. I guess probably 9 out of 10 people will say for sure I want everything digital. I want to spend time. There, of course, one person out of 10 will say no. I prefer this way. I have so much time. I will just waste it, and it's okay for me. I don't want to be digital. I want to use pen and paper, and that's okay.
I want to
It
talk
will
to a
also be
human being.
percentage. Yeah, as well, and that's this part of segment will be there for some time, of course. But I think that percentage wise, it's to move to more to digital. In a
I,
contrast, if we're talking about the business cases, of course, when we talk to businesses, we need to explain them the benefits, and we never push them. Hey, you need to move all the fleet completely digital. We always say, hey, do you see that digitalization can help you somehow to manage the processes and maybe capture some of the market segment? If they say, yeah, we always offer like, okay, let's do a pilot. You try it out, you feel the experience, you try it out yourself, the consumer, and then if you feel that it's scalable for you and you want to step into this game, we are here to help.
Great. It's actually an interesting point about this online transformation, because when I was actually involved with the broker part of the business, it was a similar story that at the beginning we had about 60-70% of customers actually willing to talk with someone online and trying to call the agents, call the customer service representatives. And that was, let's say, a hassle to kind of explain the customer that everything is available online, that you actually don't need to talk to anyone. And then it was just a matter of line when we decided that we just switch off the phone lines and we'll leave everything online. And at the beginning, that was a really scary moment. But the reality is that the last statistics I was checking, I think 75% of the customers by now are actually preferring the online and digital communication rather than calling, ringing, talking to someone. So I think that you are actually on the right track. But again, maybe to simplify the thing, because we're talking about some, let's say, strategic approach, but in some simple words, how do you leverage this, let's say, technology that you're having in the let's say, to enhance the customer experience? So what actually are you providing businesses with, and what the end consumer is getting? So You put something on the phone? I don't know. You get verified on the phone. You get some access to the car. So how is it happening in the real life?
Yeah, so basically we, let's say, replicate all the activities you have right now in the rental, but in a bit different digital way. For example, first, okay, you book a car, maybe through broker or directly to the website. So that stays as it is. And then normally there is some kind of steps you need to do to before you actually get a car keys, right? Normally it starts with, okay, you find the shop and you go and verify identity, right? So we can do that remotely to the mobile phone. So we just send you an email which says, hey, you download the app, use the same phone number that you use when you book the car, and verify identity and add all the add-ons, do everything there. So they verify identity. We do it using AI tools. So it's pretty fast, 20 to 30 seconds, and identity verified. We also can ask for driver license, and we also can ask for IDs and passports, depending on countries. Our customer, B2B customer, can select what documents and in which format they want, and it's automatically will be asked from the user. So it's everything goes through mobile. So once they verify it, they will see the booking. They can add a couple of add-ons. So we also have upselling modules, so they can add some of the extra add-ons that are typical for a car rental industry to increase average check. If we want to hold a deposit or something, which I in general trying to not recommend to avoid let's say negative experience for the user, and the lower deposits, the higher is revenue per car. But of course, you have some other risks to take into account. But if you still want to keep a deposit or hold some money from the user, we also can do it automatically through the mobile phone because we have a payment data in mobile app. Then normally in real world, you go to the counter and ask for the keys. You sign some paper. In our case, it's all digital. You agree to terms conditions. Everything is written in the app. Then normally you should have some kind of quick overview how the car works and like basic things, where to find what in the car. We also can put it in the tutorials, digital ones, so we can see videos. Okay, here is I don't know, how to open the fuel tank for this specific vehicle model. So you can put the video there, so everybody with like no much experience in a car rental, they can see. If they need support on that, they can see a video and they should do it themselves. And then it goes to the car keys, right? Normally you go to the counter, get a car keys, and then find a car. In our case, the phone is a key, so you just need to download the app. We will link your profile to the car. You will see where the car is located because we use GPS of the car and we can navigate you to exact the car location. So you don't need to look for the car or parking lot. You will see exactly where it's located. You can also ring the signal, so you will hear where the car is located, and ring the light as well, so you can see that okay, the flashlight of the car pops up, so you can see the car, and then you go to the car, and once you're nearby, you can unlock the car, and then you can drive.
That's really amazing. So basically, a customer can step out of the plane, having already pre-booked the vehicle, and basically they just need an app to access it. So they skip all the lines, they skip all the offices and everything else, right? And
Yeah, they go directly, no extra steps needed.
yep. And correct me if I'm right or wrong, but again, talking about, let's say, the data for the business management itself, we have discussed it previously offline. So basically, if a customer is using a system, rental management system like Rently, let's say, they still can keep on using it, right? And they will just integrate this front end app and have all the data, let's say, transferred via XML both ways. So, for example, pulling up the vehicle availability into your app and vice versa, getting customer details back into the rental system. Is that the way you see it?
Yeah, well, there is, let's say, three core ways how we can do the pilot or the whole scale project with a client. The first one is already have some internal systems and they are well established, like Rently, for example, and everything is there running on their backend. Then, of course, we integrate, and then all the bookings come from Rently to our system, and then we communicate back to Rently, and so it's basically seamless one system for the client, which is recommended, especially if it's a big scale. That's a way to go, but it takes time to integrate because based on different criteria and different flows the customer has. That's one of the way how you can do that. Second way is maybe splitting the fleet, and then you run a pilot on split fleet using entirely two different systems that are not connected in any way, which is good for, let's say, trying trying it out, understanding the concept. For example, you have fleet of 500 cars and you want to run a digital pilot of 20 cars, then you can just run it on a separate server, separate solution, and see the user flow and understand if you like it. You run it for a few months, and then if you want to scale it, then we integrate. That's basically the second option. And the third option is like a I would say semi-automated. You can still use both systems, and you can manually enter the data if you want to. For example, from Blenti, you can copy the data to our system to pass the same information, but it's not obligatory. You can also keep this separately. And if you want to enter some of the customers specifically in digital rental, you just do it manually. So it's kind of for smaller scale operations, it also works. Let's say 50, 100 cars. Not all of the rentals will be digital. So you can ask client if they want to have a digital rental or they are okay to go all the way, right? And then you pass not all the clients to our system, but only part of that. So that's, let's say, three ways how we can work with a partner.
So it's basically, it means that it doesn't really necessarily require some massive changes in customer daily routine. So it can be transformed in a easy, smooth way without, let's say, doing any revolutionary step on the back end, but actually bringing some revolutionary products on the front end. I think that's really an amazing opportunity. And when we talk about this, let's say the product itself and the all these modern features, I mean, they will definitely be changing the market. So, in your opinion, how do you see this, let's say, mobility sector as such in the upcoming maybe 5 or even 10 years, if you can see that far? What would that be in your opinion? Would that be some hybrid between, I don't know, car sharing, car rental, maybe long-term rental will be added to these apps? Would that be somewhere cross-sold with micromobility, or would the micromobility, as some predict, end up shortly because there are a lot of limitations? So what's your opinion for the upcoming future?
Yeah, sure. So the main aspect of all of that business is that you have an asset, right? The asset can be a car, a vehicle, bike, whatever you have there. It's your asset. So to make a business more profitable, you need to take a look on utilization of the asset and return of investment of this asset, right? And that's the main area, and that's how the businesses work, right? And then you can take a look what of the model works for you best, right? If it's only short-term rental and you're have 100% occupancy and you just don't see any options to increase the revenue, then of course you focus on digitalization and optimizing the cost. Let's say you have less branches and do everything digital, because again, you educate the customers. And as similar to your case, when you migrated from the on calls to digital, of course it's like takes time and it's like a big decision, but you can do that in steps, starting with a small pilot and scaling. And once you see that, let's say 70% using already digital solution and 30% still on the old way of doing things, maybe then you need to push the button and cut the cost and push all of the 30% remaining to the digital. So that's one of the aspects. And then, of course, as you have an asset, you have a car, you have a fleet of cars, you can run also different business operations. You can connect it to, let's say, traditional car share as well. For example, you can run fleet for long-term rental, focused on tourists, and in parallel, you can also have a short-term rent on-demand basis for a car share for a specific city. So you can also serve the local market, and you can do that already with our solution because it's already have IoT device inside in the car, and you can run two different models. Because at the end of the day, it's utilization and revenue per car, which per month, which matters the most. And then I see that there'll be more and more solution around mobility. I see the vehicle subscriptions is one of the market where we see more and more players. So the client subscribe for the vehicle for let's say for 3 months, and they have a flat fee per month, which includes already like maintenance, some of the spare parts and things like that, insurance as well. And basically this car is yours for this specific period, which also goes back to increasing utilization. You want your cars always be busy and generate revenue. So I think it will be the trend that more and more fleet operators will step into different verticals to increase utilization per car. And of course, digitalization is another trend, and it's part of this switch as well.
So you basically think that it's going to be a mix. It's not going to be a straightforward division of these, let's say, separate companies running short-term rental, car sharing, leasing, subscription, and everything else?
Yeah, we already see that, for example, since car shares are more, let's say, active in the industry because they're mostly new companies, so they're more agile and want to try out other things. So I see that already they are playing around and entering the rental market as well,
And the
working with
subscription
the
market,
brokers
a lot of them. Yeah.
and also subscription markets, right? So it's just a matter of time when traditional rental companies will see, oh, they are eating our market, so we need to also step up in the game and provide some solutions that are that users demand, right? Because the demand is there, and these car share companies, more digital ones, they already provide this, so they create a demand. And once the rental companies see that they're losing revenue, they will start to looking for the solution to actually get back the revenues they lost. So of course, it will not be like one single player doing one thing. I think it will be a mix of different solutions.
Another interesting, let's say, topic that is, I think, pretty hot on the market, talking about the sustainability and being environmentally friendly. Uh, what do you see are the features that can actually make these businesses more sustainable? I just had a morning discussion with one of the partners in Iceland, and we had, let's say, like a brainstorming chat, like what are the things we can do with technology to make business more sustainable, greener, etc. I mean, what are the first things that come to your mind?
Well, there is a easy steps. For example, we already can support easily, and also you can support it without our solution. For example, printing the papers. That's one of the things. Of course, you can do it using our solution in mobile app, but you also can use different tools, digital tools, to sign the papers. Even if you want to still be in a way where somebody physically sign it, you can purchase, I don't know, an iPad and sign the document there and send it over the email. I still see that people are printing this big batch of papers and nobody reads them, and it's just a waste of resources. So that's one like small easy step you can already do like now. Use DocuSign or any other digital tool to do this simple process. Then, of course, we're looking globally. The trend is that electric vehicles are becoming more and more popular, right? Like Tesla is promoting this market very well. Then there is a Chinese manufacturer that's entering the market at a very affordable price. So I think that is another trend. So you will see more and more e-vehicles on the streets, including a rental, right? It's not something we already, let's say, experience, but we see some of the modern rentals already have electric vehicles in their fleet, and surprisingly, consumers love them more, right? Because of the brand around it, because of the environmental aspect of that, because of the cities promote this more environmental friendly, say, lane for cars, or even some kind of discounts when you purchase a e-car versus gasoline car. So all of that pushes the e-vehicle market up, and I think we will see more and more electric cars in the market. I'm not sure which manufacturer to be right now. Of course, Tesla is leading the way, but we see more and more aggressive players from different parts of the world also entering, and it will be again battle about which car has the best, let's say, quality price ratio, because rental is not always about the design, it's more about the quality and price ratio, so you can get your utilization up, the client satisfaction up, and it doesn't break your wallet.
Yep, absolutely. And actually, it's good that you mentioned these newcomers and, for example, the Asian manufacturers or Chinese manufacturers that actually stepping on the back of Tesla, even on the conservative markets like U.S. and Europe and Scandinavian markets where they're already booming. I don't want to go into brands, but there are several brands that are already registered and tested. And one interesting thing I was discussing with several manufacturers, and actually some of them, they see their new approach to selling the market in a way of going, let's say, away actually from the classic dealership type of approach versus these mobility products. So some of them actually are planning to sell their vehicles only through subscription, leasing, rental, and let's say short-term mobility products without even having cars available for sale. And that's a really interesting approach, and I think a great opportunity for these rental companies to use this opportunity to make these some collaborations, to use the technology to make these collaborations and etc. I think that's a great chance for all of us. And when we talk about these opportunities, what are your major plans for expansion? Do you have any, let's say, big partnership deals that you're planning to launch in the nearest future, or are there any big projects? I mean, we've been working together on one famous brand. I think we can probably name it. There's no top secret. You've done a corporate product under Avis Now brand, which is a new trend. So, are you planning any other, let's say, big deals with major car players, or maybe there's some other collaboration on your schedule?
Yeah, in terms of the brands, of course, we had a lot of ongoing discussions. We run already pilots with Avis and with Six as well. And there is a couple of franchisees around the world. We're working currently also with the good names. And right now, for us, probably we more step into corporate as well, as you mentioned. We see that one of the segment we can really tap into pretty easily, and our solution is a good fit, is basically the digital rental for a corporate, since you already have a vehicle, you have a fleet, and currently it's not very well optimized how you share the vehicle across your employees or your team members, and how you utilize it in the way that it's most efficient way, and how you track the routes and usage of the car. So that's one of the things that we see an opportunity for us, and we already talk with a few corporates on that, and I think it will be bigger and bigger. Because for them it's pretty straightforward. They want to utilize the car the maximal way to actually not increase the car fleet, but reduce the car fleet, because for them it's not a revenue generator, it's a cost position. So for them it's always like utilization goes first, and paperless processes just increase the efficiency. That's one thing. And then of course we technologically we right now focus a lot on the fleet maintenance. So we have a couple of cool features already built for a damage detection, for creating a task for the team of like for fleet managers to let's say repair the car, check the car, and do regular maintenance. So right now we're working on automation of this part, so that the tasks are created automatically based on different activities of the user, of the operator, and just based on time. So that's one of the things we will launch pretty soon, and I think it will help fleet managers really step into digital, let's say, fleet maintenance and optimize the processes. That's one of the things. And of course, then the big era of AI and things that is around. So we already use a couple of things on the AI side, and damage detection is one of the topics we're also interested. Right now, we are partnering with a provider that automatically analyzes all the damages and can, based on pictures within seconds, can detect new damages on the car and immediately raise a flag. So your fleet managers can basically understand the problem way faster, way easier, and understand when it's happened,
Yeah,
and
that's
who
cool.
is who to blame. So
That's cool. That's cool. And before our listeners in UK go for their first pint of beer, what would be your, let's say, maybe advice to entrepreneurs, to the car rental owners, or the correct way would be probably to say the mobility business owners, because these days, as we discussed, it's not only about car rental; it could be altogether. What would be a couple of things you would advise? Because we often hear from let's say from our friends, from our prospects, from our leads, that well, it's not about the time, it's peak season, and then it's low season, and then I have a lot of trips, then it's something about the family, then I'm defleeting, then I'm buying cars, and it's always not the right time. So what is your advice? I mean, how business owners should act?
well, of course, it's everybody is always busy, and never remember anybody say, "Hey, I don't have anything to do. Can you can you give me some task?" Right? So it's okay to be busy, but at the same time, since all of these people are in the mobility business, and mobility business is growing pretty fast, also changing pretty fast, so you need to do at least some of the steps, so you're not like the last player in the batch. You don't want to be the one that who is lagging behind in terms of digitalization. Of course, maybe not be the pioneer and then not investing millions in that, but you at least feel that trend. You can run the pilots, and in any moment, I will suggest like, okay, it's high season, low season, you still can do the pilot. It will not take you a lot of time, but you already have something. You can use it internally. You can use it externally. You can use it as a good, let's say, motivational point for investors also to step into the game and invest in your company as well. So everybody wants to invest in digital businesses that are very well established and can scale. And using different technology, you can already prepare a very good case for scaling it up, for example, to different countries or even to different continents, right? So there is one of the things that I will suggest is try out, do a pilot, see how it works for you, and don't be afraid of digitalization. Make sure that if the market grows and changes, you're also a bit up to date and you're not lagging behind.
And I think the one addition to make is don't wait till all your neighbors, competitors, and partners do that before you do, because as Arthur's mentioned, you don't want to be the last in the industry to implement these changes and to implement this technology. Unless Arthur's maybe you have something to add or you want to comment something more. How can, let's say, partners reach you? I know you are sometimes offering these pilot projects on some special terms. So should they contact you? Should they look online? Should they drop you an email or contact you on LinkedIn? What are the best ways? Because I'm pretty sure that some of the listeners would be interested in discussing these features further.
Yeah, sure. The easiest way is apply through the website. It's automobility.com, and then you will see the button where to contact us. Or you can reach out to me directly via LinkedIn. I'm pretty active there as well. You can find me by Arthur Burnin, or just find Automobility and under people you will see me, and just send me an invite. We'll be happy to chat.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. Anyway, Arthur, thank you very much for your time. We'll leave our friends in Miami having the first coffee and friends in UK drinking their pint of beer. Thank you, everybody, for your time and attention. Arthur, thank you very much for the detailed explanation. And I guess we meet soon, either in Latvia or UK or at some of the fairs. I know you also are attending the upcoming Move event, right? So maybe some of our listeners will be actually there and they can meet your team.
Yeah, next week, Move London. So ping us if you are there.
Absolutely. That's cool. That's cool. Anyway, thank you very much. Everybody have a lovely weekend and we talk to you soon.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.